When you step past the yellow tape of a major crime scene, the stakes are absolute. Every footprint and fiber represents a potential conviction or a procedural error that allows a suspect to walk free. For decades, television has sold us a myth. It presents a single, brilliant investigator who processes the lab work, conducts the psychological interrogations, performs the autopsy, and kicks down the door to make the arrest. In the actual justice system, crossing those professional boundaries destroys the chain of custody. If one person attempted to manage every aspect of a case, the evidence would be compromised and the charges would be thrown out of court. Strict separation of powers is required. Because you cannot be the omnipotent television investigator, you have a choice to make. You have to decide which specific data stream you are willing to own. This chart maps the 4 distinct jurisdictions of a criminal investigation.
The horizontal axis separates physical evidence from human behavior. The vertical axis separates field operations from the clinical lab. Down in the field, managing concrete physical evidence, we have the crime scene investigator. Also working in the field, but managing human behavior and suspect interviews, is the detective. Moving indoors to controlled environments, the medical examiner processes physical biology. And analyzing human behavior and mental states from a clinical setting is the forensic psychologist. Committing to a career in criminal justice means looking at this grid and determining exactly which type of data you want to handle every single day. To operate as a crime scene investigator, you rely on hard sciences like chemistry and biology. CSIs implement strict, sterile protocols to document physical spaces, secure perimeters, and bag trace materials without cross-contamination. This shows a historic fingerprint identification system, representing the investigator's ultimate output, establishing the physical reality of the crime. They analyze blood spatter, lift prints, and secure biological markers to prove exactly how an event happened. Forensic psychologists operate in a completely different realm. They spend years earning clinical doctorates, preparing to work inside state hospitals, courtrooms, and private practices. Instead of measuring physical space, they measure the mind. They administer psychometric tests, map behavioral patterns, and assess whether a defendant is legally competent to stand trial. They look for the why. CSIs process the tangible physical facts left at the scene. Psychologists process the invisible behavioral facts hidden within a suspect's mind. Detectives build their foundation in the law enforcement academy. They wear a badge, conduct active field interviews, and physically pursue suspects. Out of all the paths we are looking at, a detective is the only one who actually executes search warrants, officially closes the case, and makes the physical arrest. Psychologists assist these detectives by identifying cognitive blind spots. They train law enforcement to recognize confirmation bias, ensuring investigators don't lock on to a single suspect and ignore conflicting evidence. The trade-off for the psychologist is strict. They hold no law enforcement authority and carry no weapon. They also bear the heavy emotional burden of analyzing extreme trauma and criminal pathology on a daily basis. The psychologist's role remains consultative. They sharpen the tools of the investigation, but the detective alone executes the legal pursuit. Medical examiners complete a full medical school education. Their primary responsibility is conducting physical postmortem autopsies in a sterile clinical setting. They examine tissues and run toxicology reports to definitively establish the physiological cause and manner of death. But the biological body has a hard limitation. A physical exam cannot tell you what a person was thinking or intending right before they died. This outlines a psychological autopsy. When a death is equivocal, meaning investigators cannot tell if it was an accident or a suicide, psychologists build a network of medical records, family interviews, and personal notes. Relying heavily on secondary retrospective data, this lacks the definitive certainty of a physical tissue examination. Medical examiners reconstruct the physical destruction of the body. Psychologists reconstruct the mental state of the person right before that destruction occurred. The justice system works specifically because these roles stay in their lanes, collecting physical facts, interpreting the body, interpreting the mind, and making the arrest are strictly divided. This scorecard provides a matrix to align your specific goals with the correct path. If you want to handle physical evidence, follow rigorous scientific protocols, and are comfortable working irregular hours out in the elements, you want crime scene investigation. If you want to interrogate suspects, pursue physical leads on the street, and carry the responsibility of actually closing the case, you belong in the police academy training to be a detective. If you are willing to endure medical school and want to provide a definitive medical voice for the deceased, aim for medical examiner. And if you are fascinated by the human mind, ready to pursue a PhD, and can process heavy emotional material without burning out, forensic psychology is your path. Building a career in the justice system means looking past the dramatized resolutions on television. You have to decide which specific set of daily tasks, hard sciences, and tough realities you are actually willing to endure.